heaven's hail, hail, gold and white. We pledge our hearts and the hands to keep our numbers ever bright. Onward we go. We will not fail. Hail to our alma mater. Hail, hail, hail. Heaven's hail, hail, gold and white. We pledge our hearts and the hands to keep our numbers ever bright. Onward we go. We will not fail. Hail to our alma mater. Hail, hail.
It's probably really about you. I do look like that.
You look great. Thanks, Curt. You were in town for a while. Great.
Find your seat and enjoy lunch. We'll get started with the program in about 30 or 40 minutes.
Yeah, and he's it's always good getting people eating.
Athletic department of the university, we're very, very glad to have you here to help us celebrate this wonderful dedication in honor of Walt McPherson. We're starting our program just a little bit early because we have a special guest, someone who has a very important appointment today at 2 o'clock and needs to get in. Would like to say a few comments. If you please welcome our head men's basketball coach, Walt Johnson.
Well, I asked to come speak today because I think it's really important that I do him in that same respect. And to me, that's his greatest attribute, that to this day, his former players, and I talk to them, they come to me, and I talk to them on the phone, and I see them every day, or every other day, or every now and then, at our games, and they make those comments about Coach McPherson and the gentleman that he has been, the great coach that he was, that me and all of the young coaches that follow him need to try to pick up things from him and emulate him the best that we can, because of his success. And the one thing about his success that jumps out more importantly and more than anything basketball-wise is the 3 conference championships that he won. And that hasn't been done since at San Jose State. And that's been in the last 52 years. There's been 3 won. Coach McPherson won every one of them. And there hasn't been a coach been able to repeat that. And Lord knows, I don't care what league you're playing in. It doesn't matter. League championships are difficult to win. And so that's a great honor. And I just wanted to take 1 second to come by before our game and pay tribute to who I consider the greatest man and the greatest coach in the history of San Jose State, Coach McPherson.
Thanks, Coach.
Go around the table here. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Well, we got video rather than the other.
Exactly right. Good. There you go.
Oh, you're just going around?
I was just going to go around. So he knows everybody. Good. He was
here.
Yes, he does. How you doing? To say something.
Yeah.
How's it going? Happy birthday, Walt. Happy birthday.
That's right. There you go.
Teasing or what?
I won't tell you what kind of music I'm going to put to it, folks. Great. Anyway, okay, you're on.
No hip-hop on this meeting.
No hip-hop, huh? Okay. Might put a fight song or two.
Dad, you're going to be close.
Got over there.
Well, that's what he does now.
Yeah, I know.
There you go. Well, good.
Adopted for the family and friends and donors to the program that we should have a little private court naming dedication, but also at halftime today there will be the official dedication to the fans and the unveiling. Although Walt's name is already on the court, they had to do that back in August when they stripped the floor, so it's been on there for quite a long time, but we have not yet, of course, had the official dedication. But that will take place at halftime. So don't leave when we get to halftime, okay? Wait until that ceremony is over, all right?
The ceremony's over.
Then you can go. We know where you can go. Wait until that's over. We have a lot of family here, many former players and/or coaches. I'm not sure, in fact, could we have all the family, just raise your hand. I know they're sitting in several tables around here. Great, Grant, thank you all for being here. Walt, you started all that, right? You'll notice we have tables to my far right, definitely the youngest representation of the family here. We're delighted, this is the future. This is the future thing. We're delighted to have all of you here. Also, former players and/or coaches, would you raise your hand, who coached with Walt? Now, I know we had some who played, I'm not, Jerry Brown was coach, I know many of you, Ralph, and we also have a number of these who are members of our Sports Hall of Fame. Walt traveled in great company. He created great company, too, we know that. Walt himself is a Spartan legend in our Sports Hall of Fame, but we have some others, and may as well recognize them, I think, as long as they are here. And I'm not sure if all of these people, did Larry Arneridge, did Larry come, did he make it? George Clark in basketball, Halsey, baseball, Gene Mingus, baseball and football. Junior Morgan?
Right here.
Junior basketball and football. Ralph Romero. Ralph, I know Ralph is here. Baseball and football. Now Ross Smith, was on the 1948 golf team that was inducted into the sports. Where's Ross? I know he's here. I've got a great story I've got to tell, Ross, you know this. Those of you who follow golf and you're familiar with Cypress Point, beautiful golf course, internationally known, right on 17 Mile Drive, the very famous number 16. The long par 3 carries over water all the way. I think the year was 1944. Is that 45? Very cool. Okay. Ross Smith was the very first person to record a hole-in-one on that hole. And Ross, there couldn't have been too many since then, I guess. You don't know. You're not worried about those. Also, another golf coach, Jerry Brown. Jerry's here. And in baseball and basketball, Bob Westall. We're here, of course, to honor Walt McPherson, or McPherson. We had a debate on how to say that. And Walt is a guy that you all know is not someone who is worried about having his name on a court. He is helping us. And we want Walt to understand this. It is our pleasure and it is our honor to honor him. He is most deserving, not only for his achievements in athletics, but for being the person that he is. It's been a pleasure for us over the last year and a half as we've been involved in this campaign, of course, to learn so much more about Walt, about the kind of individual he is, and have that confirmed time and time again with the people we talk to. And everyone said he was the most respected and best liked individual at San Jose State. We also heard something else. We were told that he was the best looking man at Kansas State. That's what we were, is that right? So we want Walt to know that his presence here, his visible association with San Jose State Athletics at the university by naming the court is a demonstration of the tremendous tradition of athletics that exists at this university, and a demonstration of an individual who helped create that tradition. That is very meaningful to us. That helps us as we promote the athletic program. And we appreciate you for that, Walt. So we're honored that you're honored. And getting into the fundraising part of this, the locker rooms, the locker facilities, I think it's important that we describe a little bit how important these locker facilities are to the program, because some people may not realize how meaningful this is. But nowadays, the facilities are so important in recruiting athletes and providing the best training possible for the student athletes you have at your university. And unfortunately, when our locker facility was built in 1989, when this building opened, those facilities were outdated then. They were not built for sports teams. They were built for people coming in who put on events, or hold events here. So the need was very, very significant for us to provide a good facility for recruiting, for our coaches to teach, for our student athletes to feel good about, to take pride in. So the locker facility nowadays are very important. The focal point of this is the locker itself. I know many of you guys remember the old iron lockers, very narrow, did a lot of claiming and that sort of stuff. These are wood finished lockers, very open, big. You can sit down in them and put on your shoes. You have a little safe to lock up your personal things. And it's very important to these student athletes and very important to the coaches to be able to take prospective student athletes through there. We have a wonderful facility for the event center, but when we're recruiting, until now, we did not take athletes to the locker room, and we hope that they didn't ask, because we didn't want to show them. So we've generated a little over $400,000 that could not have been possible if we had not associated this campaign with Walt McPherson. So Walt, we thank you for that as well. Right now, I'd like to introduce our interim president. I think 3 or 4 weeks ago, he probably thought this might be one of the last official functions he would have at the university, but surprise, we've extended the search for our president, and he has graciously consented to extend his stay at San Jose State for probably another 5 or 6 months. A man with tremendous experience in university administration and intercollegiate athletics. He was president at the University of Nevada, Reno for 23 years and served as the president of the NCAA for 2 years. We are very fortunate to have him at San Jose State. Please welcome our interim president, Dr. Joseph Crowley.
Thank you, John. I don't mind staying. I'm having a good time at this institution. I wasn't sure that when I got here that I would want to stay any longer than 6 months, and indeed I had bargained for it to be only 6 months. But when the day arrived that the search failed and the chancellor asked me if I would stay, I was pleased to say that I could and would, and continue to derive the enjoyment just simply from being here, from meeting the people of the place and the people in the community who love this place, and to participate in occasions like this, which is, there are a lot of things that one doesn't miss about being a university president, and a lot of things about which one is happy to lose one's memory of. But days like this are very special. A day when you pay tribute to a person who is, in every sense of the word, a legendary figure for this university, a man whose record almost defies description. It is described in the program, and just in that paragraph or two, you get a sense of what an awesome, truly awesome contribution that Walt McPherson has made to this university, doing things that simply couldn't be done these days, starting as a college coach. What did you tell me? Well, 10 days after you graduated from the university at age 22, coaching not just one sport, but 4 sports simultaneously, winning a national championship, winning, as Phil Johnson said, 3 conference championships, touching the lives of hundreds or thousands of young men in the process, serving for, when you count his undergraduate service as a student and an athlete, to 42 years, being an athletic director here, being a conference commissioner, and finishing off as the supervisor of student teachers. My goodness. And when I look at him today, and Walt, you look about what you must have looked like in 1976 when you left this place. Extraordinary man. And then look around, and John was asking about the coaches and the players and people who've been with Walt, and you see in them as well the tradition of this institution. To be able to do that is a special pleasure. That is to say, to honor Walt and in a sense honor you all as well for being here to participate in this special day. Walt McPherson and many of you as well who have participated in building the tradition of San Jose State University is the kind of person, and the rest of you as well, that give us a sense of the rich history of this institution, that allow us to understand that though in any given year or period of years we may struggle financially or otherwise, that we know from what that tradition tells us and the people who made it, that we'll get to the other side and prosper again. Walt and the rest of you give us an anchor in the past, give us the kind of continuity in which we gloried, and you put all that together and a whole lot more, but I'd love to have time to talk about, but John won't let me. And you get a sense of why I'm happy to stay for another 6 months. So I'd like to thank the university and those of you in the room that I have had occasion to meet in the 6 months I've been here for such a wonderful welcome and for being part of such a wonderful university, and say especially, Walt, congratulations to you on this richly deserved honor. Thank you.
We have 2 of the members of the President's staff with us today, and they participate in a lot of our events, and we really appreciate their presence. I would like to introduce them, just ask them to stand briefly. Vice President for Administration, University CFO Don Cassie. To the President, Irene Europe. Years ago, one of our visitors, Tom Cole, and I were visiting. and talking about how can we raise this money. We just completed a capital campaign for $4 million for our new strength center on South Campus, which was all privately funded, just as this campaign was, of course. And trying to find a way to not go back to the same people, the same Spark Foundation members, the same people who gave to that. And it was Tom, who was very familiar with Walt, who's been in San Jose for many, many years, forever, I guess, born here, went to San Jose State, is a great Spartan fan booster, and he said, this would be a great time, a great way to honor Walt and help get these facilities. And boy, that was it. As soon as he said it, I said, well, that's it. That's perfect. Tom, would you stand a minute and be recognized? One thing about Tom that really disgusts me, though, he's 12 years older than he looks. Whatever you think he is, add 12 years. This guy's been here a long time. But once we had the idea, we had to put a group together, a committee, and went to two guys. One's on our Order of Sparta Board of Directors, another's a former athlete. The Order of Sparta is our former athletes association, and many of you here are active members of that group, to help put together a group to go out and raise this money. First was George Clark. We've already introduced George. He was co-chairman of the campaign committee. Thank you, George. And Ray Silva, former athlete here, agreed to serve as co-chairman. Now, you know, one of the biggest challenges we had when we started this was getting Walt to agree to lend us his name.
I agree with that.
And of course, me being the smart guy that I am, went to Ray, because he is the best salesman we know. You know, he's an insurance guy, and he knows how to talk. We went to see Walt and visited him about this, and basically what Ray did was demonstrate to Walt what a difference it would make. It would make the difference in the campaign if we could associate him with it, and that's ultimately why Walt did it. Of course, he knew it would help the program, and he was convinced that without it, we wouldn't have a chance, and we would not have had the chance. So I thank you, Ray, for that, and you and George both for the money that you drove to this campaign. And as it turns out, not only were you the campaign co-chairman, you were the campaign committee. So we appreciate that. So we did. We had a great time working together, and I appreciate all that you guys did very much. There are a few donors that I would like to acknowledge. The largest donors that we have are not here. We had 5 people who donated major gifts, and one is a former athlete. Donated the largest gift we had. His name currently is Tariq Abdul Wahid. Now, those of you who followed San Jose State basketball in the mid-90s, 96, 97, I think, you probably knew him as Olivier St. Jean. Went on to the NBA, was with the Dallas Mavericks. I think he is still on that roster. I'm not sure. He didn't know Walt, so Walt, you didn't have anything to do with this one, okay? He's too young, but he had a wonderful experience at San Jose State. He appreciated his coach. He's very smart young man, and he will do extremely well in life, even if he didn't have the NBA. But he donated $100,000 to this cause, and did it so easily, so graciously, to introduce our athletic director, who will make dedication to Walt. Please welcome Chuck Walt. Walt, will you come forward?
Walt, this is something that you can put on your wall if you're not able to bring your friends and family to the event center. And I'm especially pleased, sort of like the Constitution, that they made the letters large enough that we can see them wherever we're sitting, or however bad our eyesight is on it is. This plaque says, presented to Walt McPherson at the dedication of the Walt McPherson Court, the Event Center on San Jose State University campus, December 6, 2003. Walt, I want you to appreciate and understand, you being a basketball coach for those many years, there are very few in the country that have had this honor. I can think of an associate of yours back, Bob King Court, Pitt in Albuquerque, has his name on that court. Lute Olson has his name, Lute Olson has his name on the court in Arizona. Coach K has his name on the court somewhere out east, the Dukies. So this is a special, special honor. And as everyone who's said here today, you so richly deserve it, Coach.
Thank you, sir. I made a note or two, but I left them over there. That's all right, Bill. This is my son, Bill. He's up to put a paper in. Thank you. I don't want to waste a lot of your time, but I really appreciate all you folks that took the time to be here, and so many of your special friends that go back even as much as 60 years, a long time. But I just thought today, in reflection on my own life, that as I look back, I really couldn't have painted a better picture. I had a very loving family and have remained all these years in wonderful terms with not 10 or 12, but dozens of them, and good friends as well as relatives. And I'm just so thankful for the family that I've had. And then as far as college goes, my sister started college but didn't finish for the next 50 years, I think it was, something like that. So I was the first one in our family that went to college, which, by the way, we lived within about 3 blocks of San Jose State, so it was walk to school and walk home. And while there, I had a good education and was able to follow through with a physical education major, which I had always desired to be a coach from when I was a little kid. And while I was in school, I had the opportunity to play baseball, basketball, and football. I was a starting first baseman for about 3 years. Basketball, I was starting guard on a team that beat Santa Clara for a major conference title in '38. A team that was recognized as one of the best that Santa Clara had ever had up to that time. And then in football, I was the captain in '38 and finished in the Islands. And we finished the year 11-1, which is pretty good. I know we didn't play Notre Dame or Ohio State, but we had a real good record for the teams that we did play with. You would have to find this true, but I graduated from college at the end of the fall quarter in '38, and within 10 days, I signed on as head baseball coach and freshman basketball coach. I was 22 years old. I think at that time they advertised that I was the youngest head coach in America, which very likely was true. And anyway, in the coaching, I just had a wonderful experience in all those sports, but primarily in basketball. Oh, by the way, I also was head golf coach for 20 years, and had a few like Ross. Where are you, Ross? I lost you. And some wonderful guys that played golf, and we had great teams. But the main thing is that I look back now, I see faces here tonight and have memories of so many guys that were not only great athletes, but great men. At that time, we were graduating upwards of 90% of our athletes, which is kind of unheard of these days. But in those days,
we didn't have scholarships, at least in basketball and baseball. Consequently, kids came to school to get an education, and incidentally, they played some sports. And it's just been so satisfying to follow the careers of so many of these guys that have been teachers and coaches and administrators and in the business. So many that have been wonderful successes, and I don't think my contribution was that great, but it's just been a wonderful experience to know and evaluate the wonderful careers that so many of them have had. And I just look forward to that continuing for another year or two or three, but we don't call the shots at this stage of the game, so I'll take what comes along. But in the meantime, thank you for coming tonight, and I sure do appreciate seeing you. Thank you.
Second. Yesterday was his 87th birthday. Let's give around this. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Walt. Happy birthday to you. Walt was, we coaches know, it's about players, guys who get holes in one and those kind of special things that make you an outstanding coach. There were significant players in this project, as John pointed out, and lest you think it was quickly done, we started this 5 years ago, and Coach Johnson was the coach then, even before he took off and spent 3 years with the Bulls, so his speaking tonight was significant as well. The only player that hasn't been mentioned is the person who persevered. In fact, at one point we gave Chuck Davidson $300,000 back because we couldn't get it going, but that person kept persevering and made sure that this project happened. And that is John Glass. John, we thank you very much.
Thank you, Chuck. That we have the dedication halftime, so hold off before you go to the restroom. You'll have time now. On the concourse, the right concourse, when you go sit, you're going to go out to the door to the left and go around to the right. And I think, Sherry, are we in section 4? Is that what we're in?
3 and 4.
3 and 4. On the concourse behind that, we have 2 recognition pieces, very beautiful. One identifies Walt McPherson Court and describes why it is Walt McPherson Court. It's similar to the text that you have in your program. Not exactly, but that plaque will be up there in perpetuity, as will Walt's name on the floor. The second set of recognition piece identifies the donors who made leadership gifts. We identified leadership gifts as minimum $1,000 contributions to the program. These are beautiful recognition pieces, and I encourage you to stop and take a look at those. Before we leave today, there are several other people I'd like to thank. The ladies who were so kind, Stacy, Andrea, and Kirsten. They were the ladies out there holding up the signs. They wanted me out there to also, Paula Pinkline, who registered. She's in the Spark Foundation office. Did we lose Sharon? Is she hiding? Sharon Bragg. Closing. We have asked the original Spartans, founding member of the Spartans, is that right? One of them, who loves to sing. We have asked him to close today's ceremony with the alma mater. Ray Silva.
As tradition would have it, some of you already know, I tell you to stand. Share here, having gone to San Jose State, we have mentors like Walt McPherson. And we're going to close this ceremony with the singing of our alma mater. Now, for the old timers, remember the colors were gold and white. They've added the color blue now, but we're not going to recognize that today. We're going to sing it the old way, the way we know it with the gold and white. So I want you to sing along with me. If you know the words, God bless you. If you don't know them, just speak it. But I want to hear from all of you. Hail, Spartans, hail, hail, gold and white. We pledge our hearts and hands to keep our colors ever bright. Onward we go. We will not fail. Hail to our alma mater. Hail, hail, hail. That was great. Thank you all. Thank you for your 2 o'clock yellow heart. Thank you very much.
I think that I wasn't here. I was here enjoying it all. A great day for all of us. As you can see, we're cleaning up afterwards. And now we're going to go in and watch the game. Great day. Hi there.
Upon his return to San Jose State, he coached the baseball and basketball teams again and the men's golf team. That 1948 men's golf team won the NCAA championship. In 17 seasons as a men's basketball coach, San Jose State won 264 games, lost 208, and had 12 winning seasons. They won 3 conference championships and appeared in postseason play 3 times. The 1950 team was ranked 17th nationally by the Associated Press. In 1954, he was named the Northern California Coach of the Year. After completing his coaching career, he was the school's director of athletics and head of the physical education department. He also was the commissioner of the West Coast Athletic Conference, that we now know as the West Coast Conference, from 1965 through 1969. He retired from San Jose State University in 1976 after serving 6 years as the supervisor of student teachers. The term gentleman's gentleman aptly describes today's honoree. Senior Associate Director of Athletics John Class will now present him with a memento of this very special occasion, as the playing service at the event center is now officially dedicated and will now be known as Walt McPherson Court. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to Walt McPherson Court, the man to whom this playing court is dedicated, Mr. Walt McPherson.
It's a great privilege to be honored. Today, I don't feel like I'm doing like this. It's wonderful to be back, especially with all of the photos and we had a lot of fellows playing still my best friends in the area and some of them in the area. Over the years, it's been a great privilege to watch them and their success in teaching and coaching and illustration and whatnot. But I wish Coach Johnson the best in this year and the years to come. And someday, I hope I will look over this area and see a full house of 200 hours.
And the hands to keep our numbers ever bright. Onward we go.